Well, hello viewers, and welcome along to another canter with the Gallivanter. Out today on a beautiful afternoon in late November. Certainly taking advantage of the weather by shooting as many videos as I can, and taking each one of my garage children out for at least one more spin before winter kind of sets in. So today, out on someone that you've never met before, and I call it Triumph Bonneville. Couldn't tell you what the temperature is. This is an analog bike, we don't have that kind of stuff on here. I think we're at about 45 degrees, or I don't know, somewhere 8 or 9 degrees in the new money. So what has she got? It's an 800cc parallel twin. I want to say it's producing maybe 65 horsepower. Couldn't tell you what the pound-feet of torque is. 5-speed gearbox. Not a bad gearbox, to be perfectly honest. She shifts up and down just as easily as the KTM does. So what have I done to it? Because as you will hear, it's certainly not standard. Not a tremendous amount actually. On the intake side, it's got twin K&N cone filters. On the outlet side, I have put twin stubby exhausts on it, so replaced the pea shooters. I want to say it's a vapor recirculation system. I eliminated that. I had to rejet the carb for the inlet and the outlet side, and that's about it. On the engine, I put progressive springs in the forks, and I actually put Thruxton springs at the back to raise the height slightly. So slightly higher in the back, and it probably rides a little bit more like a Thruxton. Handlebars are slightly narrower, and of course the mirrors are different. So mainly cosmetic stuff. But you know, it's pushing on for 17, 18 years old now, and it's not long away from a I don't know what you call it, a frame up rebuild. She currently has, well, nearly 28,800 miles on the clock. I think I bought it when it had about 20,000 miles on it, give or take. So getting up there for having done 8,000 or 9,000 miles over the last 10 years. But this bike has a very special place in my heart. I bought it from a friend who inherited her from a deceased parent, and for that reason, and probably no other reason, it's not a bike that I could ever get rid of. She probably doesn't have much monetary value to anybody, but to me it's got an enormous amount of sentimental value. Riding through the High Point State Park today. Those of you familiar with the northern New Jersey area will know that High Point is the highest point in New Jersey. It's not terribly high, I would say 1,600 feet or thereabouts. But there are some fabulous roads, this being one, and hopefully on the way home we'll take it around another. No LCD or anything like that, just a good old-fashioned cable-driven speedometer that is woefully inaccurate. It gives you merely a suggested hint of what speed you're actually doing. It is glorious to be out. Just listen to that. Lovely. I want to say that when I got her, the suspension was fairly soft and wallowy. Whether that was just because it was old and hadn't been serviced, or if it was more indicative of how the Bonneville came from the factory, I'm not entirely sure. But in went the progressive springs, and on went the Thruxton shocks at the back. And to be honest, it's fairly tight in the corners. You know, it's not going to give a GSXR anything to worry about, but in terms of getting it cranked over and putting a little bit of lean on it, lovely. Oh, that exhaust is glorious! Why can't all bikes sound just like that? Something to think about when we do the rebuild is going to be heated grips. Jeez. Good. Alright. So, welcome along to High Point State Park, and we are going to do a little scenic loop that they have here, and then we'll stop and do a little walk around, and you can see, you can meet Scarlett Bonneville. Now I know that down there is a beach, probably the highest beach in this area. Sure, this road is bumpy. Yes. Okay, this looks like a fairly nice spot. Put her right here. Well, here she is, Scarlett Bonneville. This is my 2002 Triumph Bonneville. So, what is it? It's a 800cc parallel twin. As you can see, I have done a few things to it. Most notably from a visual perspective, the pea shooters are gone and we've got two little stubby exhausts. Yep. Real old school in that you got a pair of Makuni carbs. So we've got K&N cones on the inlet side, feeding through a revised jet system. The main motor gearbox is all absolutely stock standard, and then obviously the exhausts have been freed up a little bit. I put the fiberglass tape around the headers just for cosmetic reasons, really. Little bar end mirrors, taking the main Mickey Mouse mirrors off and put bar ends on. I've got a phone cradle there with a charger attached to it. Okay, so there would have been a sort of fairly large, bulky rear mudguard that came off. What it's got on it here is a Corbin saddle. It's called a Smuggler, Corbin Smuggler, the saddle. And it's got a little trunk that opened. Yep. I think everything else on it is pretty much standard. The frame is standard. The motor for the most part is standard. Okay, I can feel the temperatures dropping. Whew. So, time to saddle up and head home. Go for an afternoon cup of tea. Ooh, that sounds good. Guess that is High Point Lake. Certainly know in the summertime there is High Point Beach. I've been there, it's actually very nice. I say it time and time again, but it bears repeating. You know, we have to be grateful for where we live and the things that we can do. Well, certainly I feel that way. Alright, visor down. Bloody hell, it's cold. It was lovely when I left home a little while ago. The sun is slowly disappearing behind the clouds, and the temperature is going with it. Sure. Let's go. Hey, that sound, whenever I do that, that sound is amazing. This bike might be many things, and it certainly is not many things, but it has the grin factor. And if the grin factor is a way to measure the success of a motorcycle, then this bike succeeds. So, I don't know if there's anything much more I can say about Triumph Bonneville. You've heard her, you've seen her, you've had a walk around. And if this type of content is something you enjoy, please don't hesitate to give it a thumbs up down below. And if this kind of thing were along with tips and tours and general garage goofiness and, you know, tips and suggestions is your kind of thing, anything to do with motorcycles and taking videos and flying drones, roll that all, mash it up, and that's the Gallivanter for you. If that's your thing, we'd love to have you subscribe, be along for the ride. It would be great for you to be a part of the story. Alright, so from a very cold, freezing saddle, this is the Gallivanter signing off, and as ever, I'll be seeing you. I can't actually feel whether or not I've turned the camera on. My fingertips are numb. But if the camera is on, then know this, the next review on this channel is going to be that for winter riding gloves. Holy moly. Right. So this is another one of those roads that I don't believe that I've actually come down. It's a little bit longer to get home, but on the map anyway it looks like a better route, so for you guys, I'm going to grin and bear it. However, we are now behind a U-Haul. Every now and then I just reach down and put my hand on the engine block, and it helps to thaw it out. You can see wherever that van, which way that van doesn't go is the way we'll go. Okay, so we're going to get this one. Good stuff, good stuff. Okay. She is a fine steed for blatting about these little country roads. Very nice. Okay. There we go. Huh. That's a very good place to stop.